Nick with Mabru Power Systems. Today we're on an Axopar 37XE. This is a wet bar configuration, no aft cabin, with an enclosed head. And here I'm going over a new installation that we're doing on these boats, which is the 17,000 BTU 115 volt configuration running through the traditional master volt converter that we've been using, except now the master volt is being used to run the air conditioner. For those of you that are a bit more advanced into these systems, imagining a 17,000 BTU being able to run off a 2,000 watt inverter is in and of itself. So we have a 17,000 BTU drawing about 900 watts, about 8.5 amps at 115 volts at full speed, and we can drop it down to about 55 amps, 55 amps at when it starts reaching set temperature and starts slowing itself down. So apart from that, the system is pretty similar. We're going to go through where the vents are, intake system. That's all going to be very similar to what you're going to see on the other system that we put in. The difference is the pump's going to be running a bit faster because we need a bit more flow on the 17,000 versus the 12 and the 7. So we're still keeping the other configuration. We still have the two options available. We're going to have a 17,000 BTU option for customers who prefer to have a single unit to do everything, and we'll still have the 2-unit configuration, the 12 and the 7, for customers who want to have the spaces a bit more separated. So right now I'm going to go ahead and show you the different parts in here and the different stuff that we have to get this system together. So, as far as the vent location, you see the traditional, this is the same vent here. We have the same Victron, the BNV 712. Bluetooth functionality, so once again, we can go through our phone here. We can open up the Victron app. And we'll see the same functionality that we see on the display on this right here. We have another vent mirror image to the starboard side on the port. Another vent aft on the port side. Another vent aft on the starboard side. We have the unit located under the bench seating area. This customer also opted for an additional vent in the helm area. If we go in the cabin, so enclosed head once again, we're putting the additional vent right over here. Then if we go into the app section, we're going to see 3 250 amp hours. So we have 1, 2, 3 250 amp hour lithium batteries. So 750 amp hours total. We have the sump pump for the condensation. We have the inverter charger over here, 2,000 watts. Battery switch, fuse. Right up over there, the DC to DC charger, 120 amps. Smart shunts right over there, fuse for the DC to DC charger, and then these two fuses for the Victron. So the one on the right, or the forwardmost one, is reading the lithium batteries, the aftmost is reading the house battery voltage. That way we have both those readings through that same smart shunt. One difference you'll see on this installation is that you'll see the transformer. That's because we're using the same pump, 10 to 28 volts. We're going to run it at 24 volts to get the most out of that pump. So we're running it at 650 gallons per hour. So now we'll go into the app section, look at the additional vent that's in there, and look as well at the seawater system. So we have the wet bar right over here. This is the wet bar outlets. then if we go under this floor here, get one of these life jacket bags out of the way. Valve, strainer, pump, and then as we've had standard, our purge valve. Right over here we'll have the fuse for the pump. It's a simple ATC type fuse. It's 5 amps. Together. Start up the system. You're going to want to make sure that we have water coming out of the side here. The through hole next to it, there's not going to be water coming out all the time. Don't worry, that's for the condensation water. So it is normal to see water coming out of only one through hole because we have only a single unit running. Over here we have the display for the master volt inverter. So I'm drawing 8.5 amps right now. Here we have the display for the air conditioner, so we're down to 71 degrees in this cabin. I recently set it down to 66 just to push the unit a bit more, so right now we are running at full speed. If any alarms come up, those will show right here. They'll tell you exactly what it is. So you have an error 8, it's going to say high pressure. High pressure means water. If you see an error 10, it's going to say chilled water fault, which is that we don't have enough water going through the system. So very similar to that error 8. So what you want to do is check your intake system, check your strainer, clean it up as needed. Once you find the problem, correct it. All you have to do is turn the unit off, turn it back on again, and that fault will reset itself. Right here we have the different modes. So right now we're set to cooling. We're in South Florida. We also have a fan only mode, a heat mode. So that's just by pushing this mode button, you'll switch between the different modes. The fan button, I'm set to auto. If you tap this fan mode, you can select the different speeds. But I find the best way is to just leave it on auto. If we go to menu, we can see some different functionality here. So this information doesn't show yet. As far as the compressor running, pump running, even though they are running, we just haven't figured out, we just haven't been able to upgrade the firmware to be able to show this in the system. We do have return temperature, evaporator temperature, cooling water temperature, and compressor current. If you want to change from Celsius to Fahrenheit, it's pretty simple. You just switch here, Celsius, Fahrenheit. Control fan would mean when the compressor's not running, the fan wouldn't be running. I like the fan to be running constantly, so I leave that on off. And then you have a brightness adjustment, so if the screen's too bright for you, you can always dim it down. I leave it on full brightness. Screensaver, you can have the screensaver take more time to kick in or less time, so we leave it there as factory, and you can decide from there if you want to change that. Parameter is going to be for the dealers to get into and make modifications as needed to the unit. And that's the overall simplicity of the system. There's not all that much to show because we try to make it as simple as possible and as user-friendly as possible. Thank you for watching.